Hello, bonjour, bienvenue, and welcome to Banff National Park and the Banff Park Museum National Historic Site. My name is Bill Fisher. I'm the Vice President of Operations in Western and Northern Canada for Parks Canada, and I'll be your MC for today's event. I also have the privilege of representing the Historic Sites and Monuments Board of Canada on behalf of Ms. Donna Joy Zwicker. Donna, maybe you just raise your hand there. And Donna's brand new. She's just recently appointed as Alberta's representative to the board, and she's with us today attending her first official Historic Sites and Monuments Board ceremony. So welcome. I'd also like to welcome Mayor Sorensen, Your Worship, thank you, and Ms. Michelle Rempel, the Parliamentary Secretary for the Ministry of the Environment. So I'm honored to introduce the official party for today's event. J'aimerais vous présenter les invités d'honneur de l'événement d'aujourd'hui. Seated to my left, the Honourable Peter Kent, Minister of the Environment and Minister responsible for Parks Canada. Mr. Harvey Locke, Trustee of the Eleanor Lexton Foundation. And Ms. Pam Dino, the Superintendent of the Banff Field Unit. First elected to the House of Commons in 2008, Minister Kent was sworn into Cabinet as Canada's first ever Minister of State for Foreign Affairs for the Americas. And in January 2011, he was appointed Canada's Environment Minister and Minister responsible for Parks Canada. Please welcome the Honourable Peter Kent.
Thank you, Bill, Harvey, Pam, Michelle, Donna, Your Worship, to everyone here, ladies and gentlemen, bonjour à tous. Je suis ravi d'être ici ce matin. I'm delighted to be back in Banff. I've had any number of visits in Banff over the years, going back probably the first time when I came as a little child with my parents in the early 1950s. But while I don't have time on this trip to visit all of the special places and to strap on the boards for a couple of runs, I'm delighted to be here with you today, and particularly for this event. There is abundant evidence, and I think everyone accepts this, to show that bison inhabited this region for thousands of years, and we're now today about to launch a process that may eventually see a wild plains bison herd returned to the natural habitat here in Banff National Park. Sur le versant est des Rocheuses, comme dans les prairies, le bison des plaines était l'herbivore qui prédominait. Il aidait à équilibrer un écosystème et soutenait la culture des peuples autochtones, notamment les Premières Nations Stoney Nakoda et les Siksika. In both the eastern slopes of the Rockies and across the prairies, the plains bison were the dominant herbivore. They helped keep an ecosystem in balance, and they sustained the culture of Aboriginal peoples, including the Stoney Nakoda and the Siksika First Nations. Reintroducing bison to Banff National Park, while it is a simple idea, is in fact a complex process with numerous potential impacts on other species, on the landscape, and on communities. Parks Canada already has experience in this regard. 5 years ago, the bison were reintroduced to Grasslands National Park in Saskatchewan after a 120-year absence. We've learned from the Grasslands experience that success of bison reintroduction depends.
Minor technicality.
It is a minor. Gravity can be a terrible thing. We learned from the grasslands experience that success of bison reintroduction depends on engagement, it depends on agreement, and it depends on cooperation. From those like Mr. Harvey Locke, who are steadfast champions, and from others who have legitimate questions and legitimate concerns. We want to fully understand the challenge, and we want to hear from everyone who wishes to share their views with us about the issues and also about, most important of all, the solutions. Ladies and gentlemen, the time is coming, I believe, to try to bring back the bison to Banff National Park. And I would like to formally announce that the first major step toward that goal begins here today. Over the coming months, we will conduct a broad consultation to consider all of the potential impacts, both in the park and on neighboring lands, so that we can consider and that we can address possible solutions. We will work closely with the Luxton Foundation, with First Nations, with the province of Alberta, and with a range of other partners and stakeholders to develop a bison restoration plan for Banff National Park. This is a real opportunity for Canadians to play their part in the stewardship of Canada's first national park. Mesdames et messieurs, j'ai à cœur le rôle que jouent les parcs nationaux, les aires marines de conservation et les lieux historiques nationaux du Canada à aider les Canadiens et les Canadiennes à cultiver des liens avec nos lieux naturels et historiques extraordinaires. En réinstaurant le bison des plaines, nous remettons en contact une espèce qui était en voie de disparition et l'habitat qui était le sien pendant des millénaires. Ladies and gentlemen, I feel passionately about the role played by Canada's national parks, by our marine conservation areas and our national historic sites in connecting Canadians to our amazing natural and historical treasures. With the eventual reintroduction of the plains bison, we would also reconnect a species that was once on the verge of extinction to a habitat where it had previously ranged for thousands of years. We do this for environmental reasons because we've seen how the bison restored an ecological balance that had been lost in Grasslands National Park, for example. We do it for cultural reasons, as a way to acknowledge and to pay tribute to the symbiosis between the plains bison and the peoples for whom the animal was both a spiritual symbol and a necessity of life. And we would restore the bison as well to help our visitor experience firsthand to see one of the most majestic animals in Canada and an abiding symbol of the Canadian West. Ladies and gentlemen, the reintroduction of wild bison is made possible because 100 years ago, the Dominion Parks branch was created. And this organization that became a few decades later Parks Canada was the world's first national park. For 100 years, Parks Canada, as a national park service, has been at the forefront of global efforts to preserve natural species and restore their ecological integrity, including protecting keystone species. La Division des Parcs du Dominion a travaillé sans relâche pour protéger le riche patrimoine national du Canada et a encouragé les Canadiens et les Canadiennes de partout à apprécier et à vivre les trésors nationaux du Canada et à en profiter. The Dominion Parks branch has worked tirelessly to protect Canada's diverse national heritage and encourage Canadians everywhere to appreciate, to experience, and to enjoy all of Canada's national treasures. Created in 1911, the Dominion Parks branch, under the leadership of James B. Harkin, became a leading conservation body, both nationally and internationally. Influenced by the rise of conservation movement and the rise of tourism as a significant part of Canadian economic development, the Dominion Parks branch linked together exceptional natural and historic Canadian landscapes, giving them a shared identity as Dominion Parks. The Dominion Parks branch coordinated the expansion of a system of protected places in Canada, setting in place the foundation for today's network of heritage places and initiating a tradition of national and international leadership in their management, in their conservation, and their presentation. To Today, as you know, Parks Canada spans the nation, protecting Canada's diverse and significant national heritage and natural places, and encouraging Canadians and visitors from around the globe to appreciate, experience, and enjoy all of Canada's national treasures. I'm proud today to commemorate the importance of the creation of the Dominion Parks branch and the birth of Parks Canada as an event of national historic significance. We recognize Parks Canada's 100 years of world leadership in conservation education and visitor experience programs, and on the recommendation of the Historic Sites and Monuments Board of Canada, it is a great honor for me today to unveil a plaque formally recognizing the creation of the Dominion Parks branch as a national historic event. Thank you. Merci.
To learn more about bison and why they belong in Banff National Park, visit our website bisonbelong.ca.